Welcome to Tech E. Every single day, billions of us do something so routine we don't even give it a second thought. We pop open a browser, type in a web address, and we hit enter.
But have you ever really stopped to think about what's happening in those few milliseconds after you press that key? I mean, how does a whole website, sitting on a server maybe thousands of miles away, just show up on your screen? It's not magic, I promise. It's actually a fascinating, high-speed journey through the invisible plumbing of our modern world.
To really understand that journey, we first need to get a lay of the land, the world it all happens in, and that is the world of computer networks.
So what is a computer network, really? At its absolute core, it's just a group of devices, your laptop, your phone, some servers, all hooked together so they can talk to each other and share things. It's as simple as that.
And this simple example shows you exactly why that's so powerful. Imagine an office without a network. Every single desk would need its own printer. What a mess, right? But with a network, everybody can share just one. That core idea, sharing resources, is what makes networking a total game changer for efficiency and, of course, for saving money.
Okay, so back to you requesting that website. The journey doesn't just start out on the massive global internet. No, it actually begins much, much closer to home, on your own local network. See, your device is part of what's called a local area network, or a LAN for short. Just think of it like your digital household. It's all the devices under your roof. And that Wi-Fi router you have, well, that's the front door. It's the gateway connecting your private little home network to the huge public world of the internet.
Now here's the first big puzzle. You typed in a name that makes sense to you, like example.com. But computers, they don't really do names. They speak a language of numbers. It's kind of like trying to send a letter. You need the full street address, not just the name of the person living there.
So who handles that translation? A system called the Domain Name System, or DNS. Honestly, the best way to think about it is as the internet's giant global phone book. Your computer asks the DNS, hey, what's the number for example.com? And the DNS server looks it up and sends back the correct numerical IP address. Problem solved.
Okay, so now our request has the right address. We're ready to send it, right? Well, not quite. You can't just send this data out as one giant blob. It has to be carefully broken down and packaged for the journey. And that means following some very strict rules.
These rules of the road are called protocols. You can think of them as the universal language of the internet. They're the reason a computer made by one company can talk perfectly with a server made by a totally different one on the other side of the planet. It's the shared rulebook that makes it all work.
Now, the most common rulebook is called the TCP/IP model, and it's pretty clever because it breaks down the incredibly complex job of communication into 4 separate layers. Each layer has a very specific job to do, and it only worries about talking to the layer directly above and below it. This design is what makes the whole system so incredibly flexible and strong.
So down in the transport layer, something really important happens. Your request to see a website gets chopped up into these small, easy-to-manage pieces called packets. It's kind of like taking a long letter and rewriting it onto a bunch of little postcards, each one numbered and with a full address on it.
And here, we get a choice of how to send those postcards. To load a web page, you need every single piece to arrive in the right order. So for that, we use TCP. Think of TCP like a delivery service with tracking. It checks to make sure every packet gets there. It's reliable. But for something like video streaming or online gaming, speed is everything. For that, we often use UDP. It's like regular mail. It just sends the packets as fast as possible and doesn't check for delivery. If a packet gets lost, oh well, the stream just keeps going.
All right, so our packets are addressed, they're all packaged up, and they are ready to go. They leave your local network through that router, and boom, they hit the global internet superhighway.
Now here's a mind-bending idea. The internet isn't just one big network. It's actually a network of networks. A massive web of thousands of separate networks all connected to each other by these special computers called routers. These guys are the traffic directors of the internet.
And it's so important to understand this distinction. A switch is what directs traffic inside your local network, your digital house. But a router is what connects entire networks to each other. It's the device that decides how to get your packets from your network to a completely different one, maybe halfway across the world.
And that journey is just unbelievable. Each one of those little packets might hop between dozens of different routers, zipping along at nearly the speed of light through massive fiber optic cables under the ocean, bouncing off satellites, or flying through the air as wireless signals.
Then, just milliseconds later, all those separate pieces arrive at the destination server. It puts them back together, figures out your request, and then it does the entire process all over again, in reverse, to send the web page flying back to your screen. This whole complicated dance happens in the blink of an eye, every single time you click. So what's the big takeaway here? Let's zoom out one last time to see why this all matters so much. Okay, so if you remember just 4 things, let them be these. 1. Networks are all about sharing. 2. DNS acts as the Internet's indispensable address book. 3. Protocols provide the common language so all our different devices can understand each other. And 4. Routers are the connectors that stitch all the world's networks together to create the one global Internet we all use.
So just think about this. Every time you click a link, you're using this incredible decentralized system. There was no single company, no one architect that designed it. It evolved over decades. It's become the fundamental platform for our world. So that leaves us with a really exciting question. What's the next amazing layer of innovation that we're all going to build on top of it?
Now that you understand the incredible journey your data takes every day, I'm curious, what do you find most surprising about the whole process? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you found this explanation useful, we'd really appreciate you hitting that like button and subscribing to TechSheet for more.